Hello and welcome to Items On, the podcast where you get to follow your favorite Melee players and personalities both on and off the sticks. I'm your host, Ethiopium, and today's special guest is Negative. Negative, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. How about you? How about you?
Dude, I can't complain. Another podcast interview, It's great, dude.
Another
Can't
day
hate.
in the life. Another day in the life.
For those who don't know, me and Negative, well, Negative is really running it now, but Negative runs the weekly here in Ann Arbor, which I'm also a part of, so we're pretty good homies. So it's excited to interview the dog today, and we'll get into your TOing. But one of the things that I usually start off these interviews with is how did you get into Smash, and what were you doing around the time that you did find Smash?
Dude, that I love that question because I feel like it's like a generational thing where people around like my age and like what I've like kind of grew up around is you start Smash 4 or you start Brawl and then you find Melee.
Mm-hmm.
So like basically around that time it was me, Zach ZR Acid, and we were buddies from scouts and all kinds of different stuff. So we hung out, played Mario, played Pokemon, you name it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when Smash 4 came out, we were really into it. And we were really into just like beating each other. Like that was just fun. It was like I want to beat this guy so bad. I didn't have any competitive like spirit be in like video games besides that. I played like baseball and stuff, so I had like competitive drive in other avenues, but it was the first time I had something in like a video game where I wanted to beat someone like bad. And I don't know, I got into Smash 4. Zach showed me some Melee stuff. I watched the Mango Goat montage. It's iconic. And it kind of changed my life. And yeah, I started with three characters: Fox, Falco, Falcon, just like Mango, just like the goat. And yeah, I kind of went from there, man. I loved it ever since. Just best game ever.
So the homie put you onto it. Like, did you find the Smash scene through him, or like how did you find like the greater Smash scene? Because I could assume like you're probably just playing on whether it be like a Wii or maybe you were playing on computer. I don't know. I don't know what time. What's the time frame here?
Yeah, so in 2017,
Mm-hmm.
late 2017 was when we like picked up Melee, and we were just playing it on like a flat screen TV, man. It was bad. Like we would just go over and do like Fox versus Zelda. You'd be beating my ass, and then basically what happened was we figured out about the scene through Facebook. So my buddy, my dog's at the door. Like, I'm talking about this. Go on, go on. But basically, Zach was super into like Facebook. He could find stuff online. He knew where to go,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know how to use any of this stuff. I didn't even know what any of it was. So he joined some groups. He did some stuff and figured out that hey, there's tournaments. There's tournaments on Wednesdays. There's tournaments on Thursdays. There's tournaments we can go to, and they're close. Why don't we try and go to one of these tournaments?
Mm-hmm.
Just so happened to be around the same time as Big House. So, heard about Big House. It's being posted everywhere and everything. I want to go. I talked to my parents. It was a pretty big commitment. It was like 70, $80. I'd never spent anything like that in a video game before other than the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was a full blown like event. Hanging out with Zach, going there and doing that, that really like kind of set this, I guess set the tone for what Melee was for me, and it was amazing. I don't know, I loved every bit of the tournament. It got me into everything. Um,
So Big House was your first tournament?
Big House 7 was the first one that I ever played in.
Wow, that's crazy. Because
Yeah, it
usually
was.
it's like a local where people start and stuff like that. And so like going to like a full blown major for your first time, was it like overwhelming almost?
It's kind of well. I feel like when I first started, like it was like we went to a Smash 4 tournament, but it was
Mm.
also a major, so it was like the same kind of thing. every time I went to a Smash tournament, it felt like a Smash convention. It felt almost like a Nintendo convention in a way, but aimed through Smash. So
Mm.
when I started and I was playing, and I knew how to L cancel and press buttons, like kind of, right? I played Falco, all the different ones then, but the big kicker and what kept me going with it was just the unified group of people that enjoyed the same thing that I grew up with and liked that
Mm.
I haven't seen. So I was like, I've been looking for this forever. I played these games. I like these games, but all my friends, in like baseball and music and stuff, they didn't play Melee. They didn't even know what Melee was, like let alone. So it was a cool avenue to see so many people liking something that I personally enjoyed too. And it definitely kept me going. The major itself, it being a major, it didn't feel like a major. It felt like I said, a convention.
Word.
Um, Tournaments, it didn't register to me that that's what a big tournament was like until much later down the line.
Mm. So ZR Acid, or his new tag now is Zoctor,
Hmm.
and also a TO now in Fairlane, which is a local here in Michigan, was one of the main guys who like brought you into Melee and helped you get into the scene. Who are some of the OGs like that helped you settle into the Michigan Melee fold, I guess? Because you were like
Yeah,
14 around this time.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, like when we started, it was really just we went to the major and we saw what Smash could be,
Mhm.
and we kind of got invested in like, wait a minute, we could make our own tournaments, we could do this kind of stuff, and like get a group of people and have fun playing these kinds of things. So it started with like the high school group and like friends I had made through like middle school, high school, and stuff, and um, like some OG tags like Squizzle Master. He was a roommate of mine for a while. Super awesome Sheik player. We started um, my freshman year of high school is when we met and started playing. Um, like old school friends like Summer, shout out Summer, Squiz, my buddy Nick, Zach, like a bunch of old school people. We would grind house tournaments. We built it up. We had a great time with it, and then disaster struck. House tournament stopped. Couldn't do it anymore. Now I needed to find a way to get more melee.
Mhm.
That's where Anthers came in. So Anthers was sweet because I could play people all the time whenever I wanted, and it was good practice. Like I was like a silver or like a bronze Falco or something, and I just like search and I'd get people like platinum players, gold players, whatever, and I'd just be playing these people and getting destroyed over and over again. But the big kicker was I was fine with it. Like I was like, all right, I'm losing, but like I know if I learn some stuff, I could be winning. I just
Yeah.
need to keep learning some stuff. So I was the iconic any tips guy. Like any tips, like you got any like advice for me or anything? Like I wasn't pointed. I didn't have anything, it was just any tips, I don't know what to do. And basically I became friends with some people. They would give me some tips and it kind of kept going from there. One of those people, a big reason as to how I found Michigan Melee at all was Knight Noah.
Legend. Puff.
So Knight Noah and I used to play religiously every day after I would come home from school, high school,
Mhm.
and he'd be like a plat two, plat one, plat three. I don't remember one of like the platinum ranks, and I was like a silver or like a gold. We played like 100 sets, and I lost like every single set.
Mhm.
And I just remember every single day like figuring one thing out after the next, after the next, after the next. COVID came around in 2020, and during that time, there wasn't Slippy yet, so it was like quarantine, no Slippy, all this stuff is like piling down. There's no locals anymore. They had to shut them all down. So Knight sent me the link to Isolated, which was an online quarantine like pre-rollback tournament hosted by like Heartstrings.
Mm-hmm.
And that is when I found out about the Michigan Melee Discord, and that is when I found out about online tournaments. And I entered every week. I entered all 12 isolateds, all 12 weeks. I started pinging in Michigan Melee, like at here, at NetPlay, play me, whatever. I'd ask for advice every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, my online presence became kind of a meme with how like smiley I was, and
It
I don't
still
know, I
is.
just yeah, literally, yeah, I just typed like that, man. It
Yeah.
still is. So it's that's pretty much where it all started, was right there. And from there, I've just been going to stuff ever since. I became roommates with my buddy Joey, Paco.
Mhm.
Visser3, I think, is his tag now. Um, but we became roommates. He had a car in the dorm room, and we would just go to locals. It was my first like offline local, um, since like COVID and stuff, and like really competing in a season was 2021. That was when I was like, all right, let's do this thing. Let's try and shoot for stuff.
Well,
And
I,
yeah, it was a good time.
I want to ask you a couple things. First off, as a little bit of an aside, you talked about how Anthers was really important in your, um, I guess like your come up into melee and like understanding like the basics of the game and how to like play competitively. Um,
Hmm.
Anthers is actually a Michigan legend here, for those who don't know, and was able to actually come to some of your tournaments, which he won.
Yep.
Do you feel a little like sense of pride in coming from like being a kid playing on Anthers, not really knowing where it's gonna come from, to now like oh, I'm TOing the local, and like the guy who helped me become the player I am is like playing in my tournament. I mean, I feel like that's a really cool circle. Like, what does is that something that you've thought of? Is that something that you're proud of?
Well, I guess it's the first time I've really thought about that. I guess I just try and take it like one step at a time and keep going. But to put it into perspective like that, it's pretty cool. Like being like the little 0-2, 1-2 Falco player, um, and just climbing through the ranks, trying absolutely everything that I can.
Hmm.
I remember a big dream during that time of like the isolated and the online stuff was to be PR. That was like the big dream. It was like, yeah, look at all these like prestigious Michigan players. They're all ranked, and look how good they are. Everybody is just so good. And I really really wanted that so bad. I don't know if it was for ego reasons. I don't know if it was for just like goal reasons. I got no idea. But that was just a big deal. And I remember talking about it one time, and somebody in a Discord call was like, "You have a long way to go before you're gonna be PR, man."
Yeah.
And when that sentence like hit my brain, it was like, "Oh God, I'm gonna kick ass, and I
Was
want
it
to do
you were
this.
just angry?
I want to do this." Yeah, it was like the purest form of like spite went through my brain that I was gonna prove that they were wrong. I was gonna get it. I was gonna do so much that I could for the scene. Um,
Do you think that's
and
healthy
then
though? Do you think that's healthy, like to like base like not only have a goal that is like based on the PR, but also
which is
like
already tough and
yeah.
bad now that I know
Yeah, yeah,
now.
like now looking back at it, do you feel I guess the question too is like, did you were always talking about how competitive you were even when you were talking about those house tournaments and like just playing on that flat screen. Did you
Hmm.
know that this was going to be like your main competitive outlet? Was that like your main focus going in?
No, I'm gonna be real. I had other things I was competitive in. It
Yeah.
was like baseball and music, and I did all kinds of different stuff. I did rifle. I did all kinds of like fun, sports and stuff.
Mhm.
But I never thought of melee as being the ticket into my like competitive journey in a way. Um, I did all the other stuff, and melee was kind of on the side. but yeah, I was a competitive person, and I was like, I don't like losing in this game. This is one of
Yeah.
my favorite games ever. I played this game since 2003 is when I was playing the stupid game. I was born playing this stupid game with my cousins, you know?
Yeah.
Like, this is my game. I can't be having people beat me in this stupid game.
Yeah.
Um, and that sparked a lot. It's not, I don't know if it was healthy. I'm going to be real. I was like doom and gloom some days because I just lose like a rank set. I just lose my mind. I throw things. I was the biggest rager of all time. People don't know this, but I would throw controllers. I would punch walls. I would do you name it. I threw my
Hmm.
controller out the window one time. Just out the window, gone. It was
Yeah.
gone. I opened my window and threw it out the window, and I'm on second floor in my house, so I just it was gone.
Hmm.
Um, but that being said, I think I learned a lot like during that time and kind of how things like how to channel that. Like I have all this built up competitive energy. I want to play and I want to be good, but I can't be like taking it all out on throwing things and being mad and whatever. So it kind of like over time just transformed into like a healthy outlook on the game where now I just take like losses or whatever bad days, like those days are just another step towards a goal. Like you're gonna go through ups and downs, you're gonna suck, you're gonna lose. That's just how it goes. So it was cool. Like I learned a lot of that through Melee, which
Mm.
I thought I would have learned through other competitive outlets, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't as competitive, and I didn't think I had as much drive in that compared to Melee. So this really brought out everything that I kind of have with that, which is pretty, really, really cool, I think.
What do you think are some of the things that helped you in that journey? What were some of the lessons that you did learn about controlling that anger? Because I mean, maybe not everybody is a rager per se, but everyone has those days, at least if you play the game competitively, where you just like, oh my god, I'm so over this shit. Like just frustration. And obviously that isn't really helpful to your end goal of getting better and improvement. What were some of the lessons that you had to learn along the way in order to get, better basically?
Yeah. I think a big component to it was that I need to be willing to take the risk of losing. Like you need to be able to like put yourself out there and be okay with feeling all of these things of like losing, maybe you played bad, your hands didn't do it. Whatever the excuse is, you need to be willing to keep going back to that. Like keep being confronted with that feeling of I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. Because every time I got hit with an I'm not there yet, it set me forth. Like it kept pushing me along. Like, all right, I lost. What's the next step forward? I lost. What's the next step forward? And I would channel all of that like rage or whatever I had. Like, I would just put it towards like immediately after I watched an SSBM tutorial video. I'm like, how to beat Cheek, how to beat Marth. I'd like lose, I'd take a minute, and I'd be like, all right, SSBM tutorials, Falco Marth. What do I do? It'd be like, keep Marth in the corner. I'm like, man, you're so right. Oh my God, why didn't I keep Marth in the corner?
Hmm.
I'd try and do it for the next time. If it worked, it worked. If it didn't work, it didn't work. And I just kept moving on.
Yeah.
Um, but the big ticket was that you had to keep going and you had to keep trying to figure stuff out. If you stopped trying to figure stuff out and you just kept doing the same run of the mill, like I'm gonna be a rager for the rest of my life, just keep throwing stuff and doing whatever, you'll never progress with your goals. Like I don't think so at least. Like if you're just like throwing things all the time and you don't ever want to like change or adapt like a better mentality with learning and understanding, a lot of people just get stuck and I didn't want to get stuck. I was like, I got too many things I want to do in this stupid game. I want to keep going.
Yeah.
So that was like the big ticket with that was just understanding the future with the game.
Do you feel like it taught you patience? I mean that because the plans that you speak of in terms of improvement, not only do you have to lock in every day and try your little things that you want to do in a certain matchup or a certain movement or tech skill, but it's also like over months you see that accumulate. Did that take patience from you, or were you always just so happy and excited to play the game that it just like you look back in 6 months like, oh shit, I'm way better.
Oh my God, dude. It took so much patience. Oh my, it takes patience now. Like
Yeah.
every single day. It's just I'm going through it even now where it's like I put in time, I'm putting in a ton of effort, and then I'll have bad days. And I'm like, really? Really? But then I get reminded and I'll look back and I'll like watch some sets of like a couple years ago, a few years ago or whatever. And I'm like, all right, I've gotten a lot. I've at least figured out some more stuff since then. So having the patience and having to keep reminding myself that the good days are going to happen, the bad days are going to happen, but you need to keep preparing now so that your future self like can be a better self. I'm like I that entire time I wish I would have known since day one that you're prepping for your like yourself a year in advance. If you can prep and get nasty as much as you can every day, grind, 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 figure out as much as you can, the year in advance is where that's going to pay off.
Hmm.
You're going to be that person in a year. I keep saying a year. It could be like 6 months. It could be a month. It could be a day. I don't know. It's up to you. But for me, I would grind like crazy. I wouldn't see the results. I'd get upset. It's normal. And then I had to remind myself, it's fine. Keep going. The second you can keep reminding yourself and actually have that like cemented in your brain that it's not now, it's for later, you're gonna be winning.
Yeah.
You're gonna be living life. You're gonna be living life happy. So I just had to keep doing that. I was
Yeah.
going through it a little bit like a couple months ago actually, the same kind of thing where it's like I just had to remind myself like, all right, I prepped myself for a year ago, and
Yeah.
now I just gotta keep going.
I
Keep
mean,
going.
I think that's
So
one thing that players don't understand as well is that like these frustrations, you might defeat them, a year ago or something like that, but they do creep back in. I mean, it's an active thing that you have to do and have to regulate. You can't just be like, oh, I got over this hump, it's over. You know what I mean? You always have to, and that's why it's so hard at the highest levels, to keep improving because you always have to like take care of the stuff that you've already beat. You have to beat those old bosses and then still like beat the new bosses. You know what I mean? So it's like
keep
the layer
going.
game. Yeah. So I feel you on that. You
Yeah,
were
progression, man.
you were touching on after COVID, your main goal was getting PR in the state of Michigan.
Yeah.
Tell me what it was like when you achieved that goal. Did you feel accomplished? Did you feel a lot of people when I ask them this, because a lot of people say like, PR was like my main goal coming up, and I was like, what did it feel like when you got it? And a lot of people say like a little empty. I'm interested to hear what you have to say on that, because that is a big goal, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was the goal.
Yeah.
Um, and I was kind of the opposite.
Hell yeah, that's
So
awesome. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
That's
I
good to
was
hear.
I was I was kind of the I wasn't empty at all. So that year, that season, I had some wishy-washy performances. It was like I would lose here and there. I would go 2-2. I'd go 1-2, but then I'd have a run where I'd go like 4-2, 5-2, or something, beating some good players.
Hmm.
It wasn't I wasn't cut out for PR for a little bit. It was like pretty hard to give me a case or anything like that. But towards the end of that first season, I had been grinding like crazy, and I had really been like putting all my time into it since like the start of COVID. I was like, this is gonna be I want this goal so bad. And around that time is when Sweet Meat, like the monthly, started popping up, and the first one that came out, Sweet Meat One, I was gonna enter, and I really wanted to win. I was like, "This is it, man. This is the one. Like, I
Hmm.
know I could do this, and this could get me a spot." Wang enters last minute,
Shout
and
out.
I'm like, "Damn it, damn it! This could be my one to get me PR."
Hmm.
And I was so grimy about it, dude. It was just like that was the only goal I had. That was all I cared about. I didn't care about getting good. Well, getting good for this goal. That
Mm-hmm.
was it. And then I actually lost to the one and only the GOAT, HTCP, Tom Parr.
Yeah.
He beat me in pools 2-0. And when I lost to Tom, I went to the Union basement and I cried my ass off before I stepped back up and
Mm.
had to fucking play because
Yeah.
I was like, I'm in losers round one. I was seeded like one or two. I'm like, damn it. I lost it. I
Yeah.
lost my opportunity. This is like one of the last tournaments of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I clawed back. I won the tournament from losers and I beat Quang or whatever. And that is what set me to PR. And I'll never forget it. And that was like the thing that like all the spite, all the people saying that, no, you got a long way to go. Or not another one of my favorites is no, he should still be eligible for, Arcadian and stuff, even after getting PR. And I was like, dude, you're just so weird. Like, why are these people being so weird to me? Like, what did I do? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to play this game.
Yeah.
But when I got it, it was just like I proved to the world, I proved to the people that like doubted or like punched back against it that I could do it. And that was a really rewarding feeling until I had to fight for myself.
Mm.
When I started having to be like, there's no more spite, when there was no more spite, it was like, well, now what? I
Mm-hmm.
did my goal. Now what do I do? That was when things really got hard and motivation kind of leaked a little bit. It was kind of hard from there. I got PR. I was super into it and I was like, yes, I'm ranked, whatever, blah blah blah. But then like a few months later, I'm getting upset left and right, same kind of thing. Like just because that number's next to my name doesn't mean I'm not the same player I've been
Mm-hmm.
for 3 months, right? So I was getting upset. I was losing. People were still doing the same stuff. And I was like, man, I thought all this stuff would go away. It didn't. And I had to figure it out for myself and start grinding for myself and my own goals after that.
So you're
And
talking
once that happened, it was good, dude. It was so good.
you were talking about this like lack of motivation, this loss of purpose. What were some of the
Yeah.
feelings that, like, I guess, made you stop having, or not necessarily stop having this motivation, but what were some of the feelings that crept in, and what were some of the things that you had to do in order to defeat them? Because now you know you're busy and playing a lot per usual. This is the Tim that I know is playing Melee a ton. So,
um, the big kicker with it was that I just wasn't good enough,
mm-hmm.
and that was just such a weird topic that people would just talk about. And I didn't like that people would talk about skill. And I still don't like it. Like when people are like describing others by their skill or how they do and stuff off of results and they're like, "Oh, this guy's not that good. He's been losing to this guy or this guy loses to this guy." Like what are you talking about? Like what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah.
That really hurt. That hurt for a long time of people just like bringing up records, bringing up like, oh, he lost to this guy or this person or this and that, and it was weird, especially coming into the scene that I had once seen as a convention, like a full unified like love for the game.
Mm.
Seeing these like toxic aspects of it hurt me as a player and my relationship with the game. And it was kind of demoralizing at some of those times,
Mm.
especially after getting like the first season of PR, and hearing the comments like, "Yeah, you should still be in the Arcadian. He should still be doing this. He shouldn't have been on this at all. I don't understand why he's here." And I got that stuff, and I didn't know why. I didn't know why, but fighting through it, keeping going, and having a good support group, the Ann Arbor scene seriously saved me during that time and saved my melee, saved me as a person. I was going through some shit that time.
Yeah.
But having the people to back me up, that kept me going. And that's why I want to give back. That's why I'm here now, like as a TO. I want to give that feeling of like unity, that feeling of like community love and like support, that is what really keeps you going. That the community is what keeps you going. So when you lose that, sense of community, it's so easy to get derailed off of your goals and motivation and stuff. So
Hmm.
that
That's
was a big factor.
that's interesting. I see. You see how passionate you are. You're tapping the table. You know what I mean? Like that's not
Yeah,
like
I was mad. I
which
was so mad at
we
that
can hear,
time.
by the way. But but
Man.
like I mean, I think you made a really really clever point, which is like you came into the scene at Big House, which is just again like more of a convention. I mean, obviously it's hyper competitive and people are playing for their life out there,
Mm-hmm.
but you
Mm-hmm.
don't really see that until you're inundated with the scene. So you just see like the love for the game and a big community, which most people are there for the community, right? It's fun, and we get to
Mm-hmm.
celebrate our top players as they perform the game to the highest of their abilities. And then you
Mm-hmm.
start going lower to like the state scene or the regional scene or the city scene, and you start getting this, oh well, he's this or he's that, putting people in a box in terms of their skill, which is something I'm super against too. That's one of the reasons why I do this podcast, is so that we get to know players. I feel like people's stories and what they come through and who they are defines them a lot more than their record, right? and and
100%.
and that community can uh um back and circle around people who represent who they are, instead of like you know being on a winning streak or whatever, or being on a losing streak. Because dude, people get good, people get bad, people have good days and bad days and stuff like that. How are
Mm-hmm.
you able to drown out that noise and be able to focus on the community aspects, which you obviously are very passionate about?
So it got to a point where I realized that the people who are gonna support me and want me to succeed as a person, those are the people that I should give my foundation and my love and support to back, right? So with these people that would support me during like these like tougher times of like all the noise and all the fighting, all the noise and the fighting and stuff, it slowly sort of started to go away because I started focusing more on just the positive aspects of like the people around me and like who are these people that are like supporting me, getting me places. Like items on, for an example, right? Sending me to Riptide, Mallard Melee, sending me to like Gommel and stuff. Like these kinds of things. Like these are local people that want to support someone,
Mm-hmm.
me. And that's like we need that for everybody. That needs to just be like a thing where everybody has a level of support and like love from their community and from the people that they care about. If you start getting like shunned or, records start getting brought up, it's like you go down the wrong path of the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's where things start to go like, oh no, I can't beat this guy because I've never beaten him before, and I'm 0 and 25 against this guy, and you know all the numbers, and you know all this, and it's just, it gets sad. It
Yeah.
gets sad, and nobody wants that. Drowning out all the noise really comes down to listening to the people that are worth listening to, and caring about the people that are worth caring about, that give and reciprocate. And the community that I found in Ann Arbor is just the best. Like top to bottom, they're just the sweetest people, up and down. And I would do anything for every single one of them, and I try my best to make sure that every single one of them feels that same kind of way from me. So it's like that's what matters. It's like when people have like a supporting figure to block out that noise. Like someone needs support. Someone showing up to the tournament may be going through it, man. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
But they come to the game, they play the game at this event, at this tournament, and they are just looking for like an outlet to get away from life, noise, garbage, etc.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want that. They don't want any more of that. That's all outside. The game is centered around the people you care about, and that's really where it should be.
I agree. I agree. I mean, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I guess one of my thoughts and questions is, how do you how do you foster that type of love? How do you foster that community so that other people can feel, more welcome and happier to be in the scene? Because that's such an important thing, not only for the survival of the game, but the growth of the game as well.
Yeah. I kind of basically I just like to just be I like to be as open as a person as I can be. I try to be as friendly of a person as I can be because people are coming in. Maybe they had a bad day at work. Maybe they had, a rough day at school. Something along those lines. They just want to play Melee and have fun. The key word is have fun. You're going to a competitive circle to have fun. That needs to be community centered. It can't be, I'm constantly fighting for my life and this and that and thinking about records. I came from that and that wasn't fun. I didn't play the game for fun. It felt bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. Like I just hated it for so long. But um I think like it comes down to, and I've mentioned it before at the tournaments at meet, the Ann Arbor tournament. I've mentioned it before. It comes down to vibe. You want the best vibe for a tournament. Up and down. You just want people to have a good time no matter what. They're coming in, they're coming to play this game. You're coming in, you're coming to play this game. You just want everybody to have the same good experience or a good experience that they can reliably come back to. And I try my best, like with setups, bringing enough setups. I tried to bring 3 setups like for the past couple weeks.
Yeah.
This other time I brought 2, but same thing. I wanna put stuff into a stream. I just bought a webcam, so hopefully we'll have a better stream coming
Okay.
up soon. So um I'm trying to put back. I try and give back as much as I possibly can to the scene that has helped me and supported me all this way. And I think the more that we show that we're giving back to each other and like playing the game for like a community purpose, um, the more like love we'll have for the game. And that's really, really important.
Yeah. I wanna touch on something as well. Is like, you found your way to give back to the community through um, TOing the local, and through like, helping others improve through like, coaching or giving them tips or whatever. And
Hmm.
that is obviously incredibly important. And I hope it, satisfies you and makes you feel, better and you grow from it. But
Hmm.
people also find their ways to, put their stamp on the scene and the community and make it grow and better. And it might not necessarily be through tournaments. It might not necessarily be through, helping others get better inside the game because some people, are at different skill levels. Um, but some of the stuff that we do outside the game in order to foster community, I feel like, especially in Michigan, which I think has one of the better communities in the world, honestly.
Yeah.
For example, like I went to like a little, it was like shout out Zoe. She like TO'd it at her house where it was like we had like a little tournament, but we also had cornhole, a barbecue, like beach vol or excuse me, grass volleyball and stuff like that. Just building and fostering community. So like whatever crazy idea like that you have, there's gonna be people who are gonna be open and receptive to it, and it's just gonna help grow the scene even more. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%,
Yeah.
man. 100%.
One of the
It's
things,
it's in and out of it. I love it.
yeah, one of the things that you're involved in now, which I wanted to touch on, was And Friends just got released, which is a combo video. Which, for those who don't know, Justice, which was the first person to ever come onto our podcast, to first person to even give us a shot or message back, honestly, creates these incredible videos. How does it feel being like in a combo video with some of like the biggest names? Like you got Zane, KJH, just like goats of the game, Mango, S2J. I mean, does it? Because I know like you were talking about how people were maybe belittling you, and now you're put on a platform where people are gonna be like, "Yo, this guy's sick" and stuff like that. Does that give you joy? Is it like more of an artistic thing? What's your thoughts on that? And how did it come about too? I mean, I'm interested just to hear the whole story.
Yeah. Um, so I guess this kind of starts with I guess this kind of starts with like when it'll move, trust me.
Mm.
But me and Zach, right, when we first started playing the game, it was, we only saw combo videos. We only watched the Mango montages or the Armada montages, the Mewtwo King combo videos,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
This is a big deal. And we didn't understand what like what the purpose of lame play was when all we saw were combo videos, right? So
Yeah.
that was all we knew, and that was how we directed all of our learning and our play styles. We directed that from this culture of being sick, trying to be as sick as you can at
Hmm.
all times, right? So there was we grew and started playing like that to get clips, to start our own combo videos, to do all of these things. And years went by and we got clips and we got everything, years worth of clips. We didn't do anything with them. Like we just kind of just had them and it was fun. That was just the way we like to play. And people started noticing that I don't know. I'm a little different when it comes like with Falco stuff. I do different weird stuff. Like I'll
Hmm.
be technical here and I'll do like some stupid weird full hop and they're like, "Well, what was that? That was why did it work? Why did all this work? Like what's going on?" That kind of stuff, that reaction was what I would have when I was first starting and watching all these videos.
Hmm.
That was it. So, actually being able to be in And Friends is like it takes me all the way back to the start. Where like if I was starting now and I saw And Friends and like I saw like the full thing, that would have set me in a completely different universe. It would have been the same thing.
Hmm.
So me being on this platform that enables that feeling of just pure joy, pure imagination, pure creativity, what the game can provide, like pushing the game to its fullest with the greatest people to ever touch the game. It's just a feeling unparalleled. Like it really it made me cry when I got like invited to it. I was like, I made it. I did the thing. That
Yeah.
and I look back at like fucking cringy ass 2017-year-old me running around the track, being like, I'm gonna beat Armada at Big House. I'm gonna beat Armada at Big House.
Yeah.
After watching these Mango highlights and stuff, and then I look back at him, and if he saw this now, it'd just be like over the moon. So it's a really cool feeling. I got how it basically all went down was Justice and I talked at Bodied Six. I helped fix his controller. Pretty amazing dude. I love the guy.
Hmm.
Um, I made a combo video like later in it's like a couple months later or something like that. Um, he was looking for creators. He was looking for like comboers and stuff like that. Like I guess like players. I sent him a DM with my combo video, and I was like, "Hey man, I would love to do this. This is like the dream. I would love to do this." And he didn't get back to me for a little bit, but when he responded, he was like, "Yeah, hey, I would love you in this. Like, this would be sick." Um, and when I got that word, it kind of changed everything. I'd realized like it was like at that point I was inspiring people, and that made me feel really really happy about my contribution to the game, I guess, and like the art that I put out with Melee. I just love it so much.
Hmm. I think Melee taught me many things, but one of the things that it taught me was like what art could be. I know that sounds like a little weird, but like I understood like oh if you draw and if you paint like the basic like oh like that's art, you know what I mean, and music.
Hmm.
And I also from playing sports I sort of understood like yeah like you know when like Kevin Durant for shout out for people watching the Olympics, he went 8 for 8 in the first half today, you know what I mean. Whenever we released this he played against Serbia, that was art to me, you know what I mean. I can understand that,
Hmm.
but I never understood like sort of like people's hobbies or people's little intricate like the love and where that came from until Melee. And it opened not only my eyes to the video game but to what other people perceive as art. how do
Yeah.
you feel like Melee influences your ideas of art?
Um, so with everything in art, you have a medium that you can work with.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the reason why I stuck with Melee so long is because the art medium itself, like the game, is just pure gorgeous expression. It's like utmost you are you are the artist the entire time down to every single frame, every single input, every single second. And that has I'm a very artistic person. I love music, like I've said. I play a bunch of different instruments. I love them to death, and I would do that till the end of time. But Melee's like taken over that artistic part of me because of how expressive it really can be, not only to you but to your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's equally like important. It's just you can express yourself and what you want to do, who you want to be, how you want to play, things you want to do, things you want to try, all of it with a person there too. And I think that's just so beautiful that you can like both just clip each other to death over and over and over, and you're both just like, God, that was sick. That was sick. Oh, I got fucked up. That's why I say all the time, I'm like, damn, get fucked. When I was the one that got comboed. Because that is just pure art. Like when I'm watching other people hit me with shit, I'm just like, this is beautiful. That is themselves. That is pure expression. That's their art. And if I'm getting hit with people's art, like they're themselves, that's what Melee is all about. And
Mm-hmm.
recognizing it and understanding it is just it's so cool. And I just want to do as much as I can to inspire more and do more things so that people maybe can pick up on that and like I don't know, maybe steal some stuff.
Yeah.
I steal everybody's art all the time. That's like my whole thing. Is like I'm a gremlin, dude. I'll see something and I'm like, ooh, that's sick.
Yeah.
And I'll just grind it. I'll just start grinding it. That's just like I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this because it's just so cool. I just want that level of art where I could just be like, oh, I could give it to people and they're like, oh, this is cool. This is cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just love that aspect of how creative Melee is and how much you can push it to every degree possible. It's so cool.
I have a question for you then. As someone who is very competitive, someone who wants to win every set that they play, how do you balance that love of expression with the competitive side of the game where there are certain things that you can and cannot do against good players, right?
Yeah, I was waiting for this question. um, this is one of those things that I've had internal battles about for a long time. Of what do I want out of competing in Melee? Like,
Mm.
what does that mean? And being sick is cool. Don't get me wrong. Doing some cool stuff, ending the set, losing or whatever, that's fun. Like you did something cool. You still lost the set. And like in my heart, I was like so torn because I was like, oh, I did something really cool. I was proud of that. But then my other self was like, but you didn't win, and this isn't gonna help any kind of competitive spirit. Like, what are you doing? Why aren't you just doing the thing that's right?
Hmm.
Thing that's right? Thing that works in that spot. Why didn't you do that? So, over the past year and a half, it has been an entire balance, an entire joining between the two sides. That has been my entire purpose for a year and a half is just combining the two aspects. Being cool, doing cool stuff, and being optimal, doing like real stuff. And if you can I'm trying to find that balance where people are like, "Holy shit, that was cool," but it was also optimal. It's also good, and I had to kind of combine the two, my creative self and my competitive self, and work together more instead of clashing. So I'll go for lame shit I'll shoot 3 lasers in a row and feel bad. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. That's how every Falco they go through it. Um, and but at the end of the day, you're playing the game, and you want to win, and you want to do some cool shit. You got to combine them. You can't just be fighting over and over again. And it was a really cool feeling being able to see the combination between like doing all this stupid shit, single hit upper edge cancels, shine, blah blah blah, whatever, right? But then doing it in context of like a real match, figuring out new real options to do, that's just that's the best feeling ever. Is
Yeah.
when you can finally combine the two aspects, and that's where I'm at now. It's just been the most fun playing and learning melee. The most fun I've had playing and learning melee. Competing's obviously hard. Sometimes you want to do it, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have bad days, sometimes you don't. Um, been trying to work on that quite a bit too, of just keep on going. But you get in tournament. My goal is to play the best melee that I know how to play and do everything that I can to keep going.
Hmm.
And every single stock, every single interaction, one at a time, I'm just trying to do the right thing. Sometimes it's cool, sometimes it's not. I shot my 6th laser in a row against Pikachu on FD. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta shoot that 6th laser. But sometimes that 6th laser leads into a 0 to death combo against Pikachu that people haven't seen. So it's really up to your interpretation on combining it and what you want out of that. If you want to be fully optimal, if you want to be fully cool, you just have to be realistic about your goals when combining them and what you want out of it. I think
Hmm.
that's the big takeaway is be real with yourself. What do you actually want out of the game? Out of what you're doing here at a tournament. You could go home and grind combos all day every day, post them to Twitter and it'll be fun, right? But do you also want to compete, improve yourself, put yourself on a map a little bit? Those are two different things. And if you want to combine them, you got to be willing to like go through the hardships of combining them, getting rid of some cool stuff because this is the optimal thing to do right here. Maybe adding some cool stuff into the optimal thing. That's that's where you and your expression and your art really comes full circle.
Yeah.
And you could be you at that point.
It's funny because I just saw a tweet from it was Bobby Big Balls who was like, I've been conditioned to think like where to the point where like if I shoot a third laser or a fourth laser, I feel like bad. And like
Yep.
Aklo also said like, yeah, I feel like if I play lame with Fox, like people like I'm conditioned not to, which is so
Mm-hmm.
funny to me because like especially with Falco with laser, the way like if you took it in out of a vacuum of the community and you just said look at this character how you should play this character with its huge
Mm-hmm.
full hop that can get you on top plat and with laser you should play him like Dalsum in Street Fighter. Like, you should
Yeah.
be a complete zoner, dude. A complete zoner, so lame, and that's just not what Falco is in our community. So there's something like
Not at all.
there is this point of like there's an acceptable amount of lameness, quote unquote
There
lameness.
is.
I guess I don't
There
even
is.
think it's lame. Like I remember I was watching people say like Trips Falco is a very laser heavy. I mean it is a very laser heavy. Falco, like, but I still watch it. I still enjoy watching it. I wouldn't enjoy playing against it for sure. It seems very frustrating. But I also, hey, this tournament, right? Like, so who cares?
Yeah.
So it is funny
Yeah.
that we sort of think like the perception of what we're doing. That's what makes me think it's like art almost. It's almost like skateboarding in a way with the
It is.
combo videos, with the like how the community sees you. Like people. I feel like I don't know. It's very weird to me how melee is as a competitive and I think a lot of it has to do honestly with like Mango being like the guy for it is
Yep.
because it's like
Yep.
if this is the guy who like if the best player in the world is someone or like the go to the game is someone who's like really lame, it shifts downwards, it trickles down. Even
Big time does.
like Armada didn't play lame. I don't think that much at all. Like I really think he was like he could have played a lot lamer if he wanted to, and he was playing Peach. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
So I always think it's interesting. But anyways, moving on a little bit, we'll switch it up. I wanted to
Hmm.
ask one last thing about melee and then we can move into some of the stuff that you do outside of Melee. My
Yeah.
last question is, what do you think is your happiest, or not your happiest, but what do you think is like your most defining set that you've played, and what were some of the feelings and the stories around it? Like, what's that tournament or what's that set that really stands out to you? I know you talked about the sweetmeat one. Was there anyone else?
Um. So it's funny. It just kind of happened this May at Gamel, but I think my set with Zuppy was a pretty good one. In terms of just like shaping who I am as a person, and like all this time of working up to this goal and working up to just being who I want to be. That was like the full culmination of that, where I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna play my style to the fullest against, you know, top 15 Fox. And I played against Box Fox before. I play against Robert almost every day. So I was
Shout out
like, you know
Robert.
what? Shout out fucking Robert, man.
Yeah,
Oh my
he
god.
got his ass clipped in fucking Anfreds by two people, dude.
Oh yeah, he
Dylan, dude,
did.
I literally
Oh
messaged him
yeah, he
afterwards.
did.
I was like, bro, they should pay you like royalties, dog. Shout out. He's so fun to play though. No, shout out. He's actually so sick. But anyways, go
He
ahead.
is. He is.
That's why
But
he gets all the top practice, dude, because he's the homie, dude.
yeah, because he's a
He's a
homie, right?
super homie.
So um, that set was a really big deal. Not only because I had overcome demon after demon after demon, like it was like Maher was my round one losers. Like, what am I doing playing Maher round one losers? What happened? Did I deserve that? What happened for me to deserve this? Like that's hard. That's a
Yeah,
hard one.
he's so good.
You know,
He's
he's
gotten a
so
lot better
good.
last year too.
I know. So like playing him, that was immediately a mental hump. And then I was like, wait, I have to play the loser of Quang Raiden? Oh my god. I was like, I don't know who I want of either of these. Like, this is just gonna be bizarre. I just played a Marth and now I have to play a DK or Luigi. That whole run kind of kept going. I played Raiden, and then I played Prof. Prof was just like Dylan's Sheik. That's all I treated it as. I was like, it's Dylan's Sheik. I'm just gonna. The Sheik's sick. It's fast. It does crazy stuff. It's a white Sheik. I'm just gonna
Mm-hmm.
treat
The
it like Dylan's
color.
Sheik. Yeah,
Yeah.
all of it. All of it. Yeah, I
Dylan
treat
is
all of that.
ossified, by the way, for those who don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, Ossify Sheik. I play that guy all the time. So I was like, treat it the exact same. It's just Sheik. It's just Dylan's Sheik. I'm just gonna beat it. And then the final test of that was Zeppy Blake, because I just lost to him a couple weeks prior at Blow's house. Shout out Blow's house,
Shout out.
amazing tournament.
Yeah.
Um, I just lost to him at Blow's house. It was relatively close. I was a little messed up. He was a little messed up, but it was relatively close. It was a 3-1. I missed a crucial back air down air, that would have ended up taking it to game five. I just didn't double jump. Um, so going into that set, I didn't know who I had to play. I didn't know who I had to play the whole time. I get there and there's just a swarm, like a crowd of people up and down. Behind me, everywhere around me, it was just like, holy shit, there's people everywhere. That is where I grew up wanting to play. That was the setting. Like watching all those Mango highlights, crowd going crazy, Mango throwing a shirt. That was like the dream, was to be in this position that I'm in right now. And I just tried to run with it as much as I possibly could. I tried to do the cool stuff. I did the lame stuff. I don't care. I was a little reversal, a little reversal cheesy, a little sometimes. I got kills. I did my stuff. But having like the full Michigan crowd and the full like national crowd be like behind me in this like area, people screaming and yelling on both sides, that was like probably the most career defining set. It changed. And poetically enough, the last combo, the last clip to end that game was a back air, and I hit the down air and then popped off because I hit that down air that I missed a couple weeks prior and worked on.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like one of those like I popped off because I hit that downer, and then I realized I won. I was like, holy shit. And then everybody around me started swarming, started screaming. And, I think, talking to people, people see how hard I work for this game. I really try. I really do try, I swear. I'm not just like in here just, pressing buttons and mindlessly grinding. I'm really working hard. And people see it and they care and they want to support, and all those people who saw and all those people who cared and supported me that whole time, that's that was the culmination of all of the career, all of building up, and everybody was there to support. That was the moment. It really was. And I mean, it's like my best performance or whatever, but I think it was. I think it's just like it's definitely a stepping stone in like the melee career. I think so. Um, Definitely one of my favorite sets, melee moments. Just the people, everything was just it was awesome. It really was.
Yeah, it was super sick. Honestly, the crowd was super hype. And shout out to Zuppy too. It takes two to tango. He's the homie. He's been on the podcast before, so he's always welcome in Michigan. He's a big homie out here. But
To say the
he's called
least, man.
Tasman for the reason. So if you beat the
The
Tasman,
Tasman for a reason.
you beat the
That's my
Tasman,
guy.
it's always a positive. So
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
what
yeah.
I think
He's my guy.
I do want to actually one last melee question. I forgot about this one, which is what are your goals heading into the future?
So, the main goal has been top 100,
Mm-hmm.
and I have already made this mistake with getting PR
Mm.
and being spiteful, right? So this is a similar situation where you got to get like voted into a position. You have to have the results. You have to have all the outside stuff. I want to get top 100. It's really, really it. I want to do it and I want to get it. Am I rushing it? And do I want it right now? No, I don't. I rushed all that other stuff, and it was fast. It was too fast, and I got caught in a lot of stuff. It was not very great. I'm gonna take my time, and if I get it, I get it. If I don't get it, I don't get it. I'm not gonna be pressed. I just want to keep going. The main goal is to just keep going, keep grinding, keep playing, keep loving the game, keep learning to love the game over and over again, and eventually it'll just happen. So I'm gonna take it easy and like keep doing what I want to do, keep grinding. But top 100 is that's the one. And number one in Michigan. I mean that's a lifelong goal.
Yeah.
One day we'll
It's so
see.
crazy. It's like, dude, getting top 100 and is like that's the one that you're gonna knock off. But the Michigan one is like, you gotta be the goat to do that.
You
You know
gotta
what I
be the
mean? There's
goat to do
always
that,
so
right?
many good players in Michigan. I love this scene. It's so sick,
I
dude.
know
I
it.
believe
That's
though,
that's a
dude. You know me.
lifelong.
I believe.
I know you.
Dude, that run at Gommel, I'm like, dude, maybe top 100 this year, honestly, because that run was not. Dude, the jaw riding, that's the underrated one out of that ride. Anyways,
Yeah, I
dude,
was.
shout out Coin, dude. Shout out Drake. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
actually,
Yeah.
shout out Coin.
Yeah,
Shout out Coin.
she got you the practice that you needed. You have to play her all the time.
She's really. All I'm saying is that she was really, really, really good practice for take laser stuff and how clean she is off the hit.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Dude, she's so
Yeah.
good. She could be.
Oh
I
my
honestly
god.
think if she wasn't as busy and like not the goat TO, she's the one that does all the TO and stuff. God bless her. Like
Body
she
and
would be top
everything.
100 like easy.
Okay.
Like she's
I
so
think
good.
so.
She's so
I
good.
think so.
Anyway, enough about melee. We've talked
Mhm.
an hour and 5 minutes now about the beautiful game. Let's go into
Beautiful
some of your
game.
hobbies. What are some of the things you talked about? Baseball. We've caught a couple or Tigers game. I know you do
Yeah.
music. I see the what's that? Is that a treble note, a clef note? I don't know what the note is
Oh,
behind that.
Treble Clef in the
There you
back.
go. Okay,
Yep,
treble
yep,
clef. It was both. There you go, dude.
yep.
I don't know.
There you go.
I don't know, dude.
Um,
Yeah. What are
Dude,
some of the hobbies that you do outside the game?
I mean, I play a bunch of different instruments, 7 different ones,
Jesus.
um, and I love them. I love them to death.
What do you
I play
play?
every day. It's piano, guitar, trombone. There's the MIDI trumpet down there. There's clarinet. I got the bass. I got alto sax. And I just, dude, music is just like amazing. It really is. It
Mhm.
takes me away from like maybe I'll get in my head with Melee, or I don't know, I'll get upset at something and I'm like, I just need to take it easy for a second. I can channel my learning and like expression into music, and it's like a similar kind of idea. I could just grind, play for a bit, work on stuff, really have fun with it, really love what I'm putting out there, like, making, and come back to Melee and I'm fresh. So it's like, well, that's amazing. Um, I work out. I love going to the gym. It's it's honestly amazing having like a community set of people that are supportive and willing to keep up with your goals,
Mhm.
despite them having their own personal goals. They're willing to keep supporting. I try and bring that kind of energy to tournaments, like kind of like gym. I want to say gym culture, positive gym culture, is really focusing on yourself, focusing on your goals, having fun, meeting new people, and really loving each other as like a full community in pursuit of your own goals. And I think I learned it from the gym, how I kind of treat Melee and how I learn Melee. And I don't know, I love it to death. It's really, really amazing spot. God, I want to be playing baseball right now. 83 and sunny.
I know,
Oh
dude.
my God, I wish I could be out there playing right now, but
We got to set up a wiffle ball or some type of game, a softball game or something like that.
oh my God, I would love that.
Dude, maybe in
But man,
September. You never know.
outside of that, I mean, my I think something I don't really get to talk about very much is I love nature. I really love going outside.
Hmm.
That's crazy coming from a Melee player. That he likes to touch grass. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, but I've been up in Cadillac, Michigan, northern Michigan, um, every summer, my whole life. Um, go like 4 or 5 times a summer, four or
Hmm.
five times a year. Um, I love hiking. I love hunting. I love just going out, learning new things about everything in life. I mean, it's just pure bliss being up there, and it's just dead silent at night. You can't hear anything. It's just you hear the occasional like whippoorwill or owl or something, and it's just like, man, this is just peace. So I love nature. I love going out and doing that kind of stuff too. Um, I like partying, hanging out with people. I like after parties especially are just my favorite because I can get a little messed up, hang out with people, play melee sometimes.
You're just playing melee. That's what I was gonna say, dude. At the after parties,
Play
because
melee.
Michigan has some pretty good after parties. But like, you just be playing. It should be you and
I just be
Dylan. I
playing
mean, you and
melee.
Ossify just gaming, dude. It's so
Yeah,
funny, dude.
dude. I'll be like beer number 8 in, and
Yeah, you be drunk as hell. Yeah.
Dylan hasn't done anything. He's just sitting there, just beating my ass.
Yeah, dude, you be drunk, but you be gaming, dude. Some of the
Yeah,
best
it's
games that
fun.
you can have, dude, inebriated for
Dude,
sure.
it's fun. It's
Yeah,
just fun. I love hanging with people. So yeah, partying. That's another thing. I love doing that.
yeah. Well, and
Outside of that, yeah.
another thing you are is you're the TO at University of Michigan's local, which we've talked about. But you're studying. You're gonna be a junior now or senior?
I'm gonna be a senior.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I'm gonna be done not this semester, but next semester. I could have been done this semester, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of a little bittersweet to think about. And it moved so fast. I was just
I know,
a
dude.
freshman, like a few years ago. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, I'm gonna be done with my BCN neuroscience degree. Um, come May, it'll be May or June. One of the graduating. I don't know when people graduate, but I think it's May. That's crazy to think about. Going into life and shooting for a master's in public health, so we'll see how that gets me, and
Oh,
then from
Masters in
there,
Public Health.
we're gonna try. We're gonna
Nice.
try it, and
I didn't know
then
that.
either PA or med school route. I am gonna take the MCAT. I'm gonna grind a shit ton on the MCAT. Oh my God, I'm gonna put every ounce of my being into that test.
Well, you don't have to worry about that now, right? Because you're gonna do
I
the
mean,
Masters.
yeah, yes,
So
yep,
yeah,
I
it's
do.
pushed off. You don't even have to worry about it, dude.
You're right. You're
I
right.
got you. The GRE is a
You're right.
joke.
You're right.
The GRE is a joke, so you don't even have to worry about that for the Masters, dude. So yeah, dude, you get to relax, dude.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot for it. We'll see. I was planning on taking MCAT this upcoming summer. I'm gonna do a 6 month program and kind of figure that shit out. But then after that, if I get MPH and I decide that MCAT wasn't worth it, I don't want to go down the med school path. I have options. So I just want to keep options available, keep going, and keep living life, keep playing, keep having fun, doing what I want to do, and set myself up.
Yeah. Well, dude, I think on that note, I think that's a great place to end it. It was awesome talking to you. All love, you know that,
Yeah,
bro.
man. Same, same. Always a pleasure, man. As always.
Always good to have Michigan homies on as well. So it's all love.
Mhm.
Yeah. So let's wrap it up then. This has been Items On. You've been listening to Negative. I'm your host Ethiopium. Thanks for watching.